Right, so hello and welcome back to Books and Things. Today I'm going to be talking about some screen adaptations of Pride and Prejudice. There is currently a blogathon going on which is called Beyond the Cover. I will put links down below to the people who are running it, to their blogs and also to Liz's YouTube channel. She is new on BookTube, but she's been running a blog for ages. Her blog is brilliant, her YouTube videos are so great. Please do go and check her out. She and a few others are hosting this blogathon of blogs and BookTube videos about screen adaptations of books. So on my blog this week there will be a review or a kind of like discussion about the 1998 TV adaptation of Our Mutual Friend, and today on my BookTube channel I thought I would talk about the two adaptations of Pride and Prejudice, the 2005 film and the 1995 TV BBC miniseries, because these two are quite contentious and I have quite a lot to say about them. So both of these adaptations I think can be quite controversial, especially this one. And I wanted to talk about them because most people I know love one and hate the other, and I actually kind of love both. So I used to work at the Jane Austen Centre in Bath for a year while I was doing my MA in creative writing at Bath Spa, and while working at the Jane Austen Centre, in like the final room of the exhibit, there is a bit about the TV adaptations of various Austen novels, and a lot of people would look at the picture of Keira Knightley and be like, oh, I hate that adaptation, I hate her. There was just so much controversy, and I think for a lot of people they have one adaptation that is theirs. They love either the 2005 film or the 1995 BBC miniseries. Occasionally there were a few older people who have mentioned much older adaptations from like the 70s or whatever, but in general it was these two adaptations and people loved one and hated the other. I am very fond of both of them, but I think both of them do have their problems or their advantages. So first off, let me talk about this adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. There are many brilliant things about this, of course. One of the most brilliant things about this BBC miniseries is that it is 6 hours long, which means you get so much of the book into this. You really get the slow progression of various people's relationships, you get proper dialogue between all of the characters. There are many characters in this that are cut out of the other one. We get a lot more of Caroline Bingley in this miniseries, and I think she's a brilliant kind of savage, wonderful character. We get more of Mr. Bingley's other sister, who is cut out of the 2005 one. We get a lot more about the kind of sisterly interactions, a lot more of Lizzie and Mr. Darcy. Obviously Colin Firth is brilliant, Jennifer Ellis is also very good. I think in general the acting is good in this, although I have quite a lot of problems with the way Mrs. Bennet is portrayed, but I'll talk about that in a minute. This feels much more of a faithful adaptation to the book, and I think in that way it does do the book justice, and I really like that factor of it. But there are also many things to be said about the 2005 film. It is not as long. It moves too fast. There are certain things which you don't get the full impact of, especially things between like Lydia and Wickham at the end. I feel like in a film like this, you don't really get to see the significance of it because there's not enough time to develop the rest of the social criticism and all of that kind of stuff that is in Austen. I also think it's a shame that Caroline Bingley is not in it as much. I think it's a shame that certain things are kind of missed out and that there just isn't space to fully develop all of the characters. But it looks beautiful, and the music is beautiful, and the acting is brilliant. I think Mrs. Bennet is done so well because she at times is an unsympathetic character, but she isn't presented as inhuman in the books, and the closer you read Pride and Prejudice, I think you do see that although Mrs. Bennet is silly and she's obsessed with getting her daughters married, she's obsessed with getting her daughters married because if they don't get married, they will be destitute. And actually, when it comes down to it, although she is a bit silly, she also is a person, and I think this film does a much better job of presenting her as human and fully fledged, which I really enjoy. I also think that Matthew McFadden will forever be Mr. Darcy to me. Colin Firth is a brilliant actor, but I think I'm of the generation where Colin Firth is too old for me to be Mr. Darcy, whereas Matthew McFadden is not, and is quite brilliant. I mean, for me as well, Colin Firth gets the pride of Mr. Darcy, but Matthew McFadden gets the social awkwardness, which is actually really important and really significant to Mr. Darcy's character in the book, and I don't think Colin Firth really gets that, whereas I think Matthew McFadden does. Also, I really like Keira Knightley. Now, Keira Knightley didn't used to be one of my favourite actresses, but so many people hate her, and the more people talk about hating her, the more I love her in like defence of her, because I actually think she's quite a good actress, and I don't see what everyone's problem is. I think she was brilliant in Never Let Let Me Go. I think she was very good in The Duchess, and I like her in Pride and Prejudice. I think she's good. I know this adaptation is too fast and doesn't go into as much detail, doesn't really get its teeth into the plot, but I think the acting is superb, the music is beautiful, the whole look of it is just so impressive. Like, as a work of art, I think the 2005 film goes far above the 1995 BBC miniseries. Neither of them, however, are perfect. This, for me, lacks the artistic merits that I think you can get across in a series, because if you are adapting a book to screen, you want to go beyond the book and you want to make it more than the book. You don't just want to make it a visual representation of the book. I think you need to make more of it somehow, and I love the artisticness of this adaptation, which for me this doesn't have. I mean, it's partly because this is a film and this is a mini-series, but when I see something on TV that is a TV adaptation of a book, I want it to feel like it merits being an adaptation rather than just reading the book. I think you could get what you get from this by reading the book, whereas this is slightly different. It's a different thing to the book, whereas this is just a visual representation of the book, I sometimes feel. I say that, I love both of them very much. But anyway, my ideal Pride and Prejudice adaptation would be the dialogue, the script, the length of the BBC miniseries, with the look, the music, and the actors of the 2005 film. I love both, but I also get annoyed with both because they're both not perfect, but I really enjoy them because Pride and Prejudice, any amount of hours of Pride and Prejudice is always going to make me happy. So there we go. I just wanted to have a quick talk about Pride and Prejudice TV and film adaptations today. Please let me know if you have seen either of these, what you think of them. I bet a lot of you hate this one. I bet lots of you love this one, but some of you might also love this one. So let me know. I am curious to know. I'll be back soon with another video. In the meantime, happy reading, happy watching. Let me know what your favourite adaptation of a book is down in the comments. I will see you soon.